Assassination of Tsar Paul I of Russia, March 23, 1801. March 23, 1801, marked a turning point in Russian history. On this night, Tsar Paul I was assassinated in his palace by a group of conspirators, ending a controversial reign that had been marked by erratic policies and widespread discontent. His death ushered in a new era under his son, Alexander I, whose reforms would reshape Russia. Paul I's reign began in 1796, following the death of his mother, Catherine the Great. Despite his royal lineage, Paul struggled to emerge from Catherine's shadow. His mother had sidelined him during her reign, and Paul's policies often seemed like direct repudiations of her legacy. Catherine's rule was marked by territorial expansion and enlightened absolutism, while Paul's governance was characterized by unpredictability and rigidity. One of Paul's most controversial decisions was his attempt to reform the military. Obsessed with discipline and order, he introduced harsh regulations and Prussian-style uniforms, alienating the officer corps. His abrupt dismissal of loyal officers, combined with favoritism toward inexperienced allies, sowed dissent within the military ranks. Paul's foreign policy further destabilized his position. Initially, he allied with Britain and Austria against revolutionary France, but later switched allegiances, forming a rapprochement with Napoleon Bonaparte. This sudden pivot shocked the Russian nobility and angered Britain, leading to economic disruptions and political isolation. The conspirators who plotted Paul's assassination included high-ranking military officers and members of the nobility, many of whom were former allies of Catherine the Great. The plot unfolded at St. Michael's Castle in St. Petersburg, a fortress-like palace Paul had constructed to protect himself from imagined threats. Ironically, it became the site of his downfall. On the night of March 23rd, the conspirators stormed the castle. They confronted Paul in his private chambers, demanding his abdication. Accounts differ on what happened next, but it's widely believed that Paul resisted, leading to a violent struggle. He was ultimately struck down and killed, possibly with a sword or a heavy object. The conspirators quickly installed Alexander I as the new Tsar. While Alexander was likely aware of the plot, his exact role remains a matter of debate. In his early reign, Alexander sought to distance himself from his father's policies, enacting reforms aimed at modernizing Russia and improving relations with European powers. Paul's assassination had profound implications for Russian history. It exposed the fragility of autocratic rule and highlighted the tensions between reform and tradition in the Russian Empire. His death also underscored the role of intrigue and violence in Russian court politics, a theme that would recur throughout the empire's history. The assassination of Tsar Paul I wasn't just a palace coup. It was a moment that reflected the broader struggles of an empire grappling with change. Paul's death paved the way for Alexander I's reforms, but it also served as a cautionary tale about the perils of absolute power.